And I want to show you how to process a negative emotion when it comes up. And to help you process what to do when a negative emotion comes up, because we are not taught the skill and we are not taught how to feel safe with the negative emotions coming up because our brain by default, when a negative emotion comes up, we immediately try to run away from it. We're like, no, 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 no. I am feeling sad. I have to go do something to distract myself because I don't want to feel sad. And so it's really important to develop this skill of how to feel an emotion because this is what will raise your confidence. This is what will extremely you're like, I am confident no matter what, because the definition of confidence is knowing that no matter what happens, I can handle an emotion. The worst thing that could happen to me is an emotion. And so if we just start off with defining what is an emotion or a feeling, same, I'm going to use this interchangeably, but if an emotion is just a vibration in your body, it's it's like a muscle kind of giving a sensation in your body. So if I'm feeling anxiety kind of feels like a spiraling down my chest, or sadness just kind of feels the sensation of heaviness like here across my shoulder and my on my body, or fear or anxiety or being afraid kind of it just feels like kind of around like right here. It just kind of feels like a pulsing feeling. It's very different for everyone and how they feel it, but when you learn how to label each feeling and you identify what it is, you won't be afraid of it anymore. And oftentimes when we avoid something or we don't do something, it's because we're afraid of what we think we're going to feel when that thing happens, right? Like I don't want to talk to this person because of the anxiety that they're anticipating they're going to feel. Or um, even when they think about things like sadness. Okay. So usually people who feel sad is because they're anticipating the sadness in the future, even though there's nothing to be sad about right now, but they're anticipating that it's going to happen. So, like, well, what if I never get married? Okay. Their brain is anticipating if I don't get married, I'm going to feel sad permanently for the rest of my life. So the brain is feeling sad now ahead of time to prepare for that emotion that's going to happen that could happen in the future. And but because they haven't trained their brain to learn how to process that emotion if it were to come up. They think that they're going to be permanently stuck in that feeling forever. So to just start off, basic a really good emotional intelligence is learning how to feel and labeling what you're feeling and identifying what you're feeling. And this is a skill that will empower you on so many levels, right? So me personally, when I'm going to any event that I'm afraid of, or doing something that I'm afraid of, I I literally tell myself like the worst thing that could happen is this emotion. The worst that could happen is I'll be humiliated, I'll be embarrassed, um I'll feel scared, and all of it is something that I've already felt before, and I'll know how to feel. And if it were to happen, I'll let myself feel it and process it and move on with my life. You don't let your emotions dictate what you do and what you don't do, but you're not afraid of it anymore. You kind of just go with it. And that's what courage is, right? Doing things knowing that, okay, I'm afraid of doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway because the worst that could happen is an emotion and I'll be able to handle it. So what else is going to happen, right? So the worst that could happen to us as a human being, I'm talking like an average human being, is the worst thing that could happen is an emotion. And these emotions are coming from how we think. So if I'm having a thought, um, I'm so behind and I feel anxiety, and the anxiety is just kind of like a spiraling thing across and down my chest, that's it. That's the worst thing that could happen. But what happens is when this anxiety comes up, our brain, and we're not used to feeling that, and we don't feel safe feeling emotions, our brain perceives that as like this is very dangerous and we have to fix it. And so we get anxious about our anxiety, or we get sad about our sadness, and it piles up and it turns into this big, like, like this big, 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 big emotion that we don't even know where to start to, we get overwhelmed from our emotions and we just kind of like, we numb out, right? We numb out by either like, over scrolling, over watching, drugs, all the things you can list out. That's how we numb out. Or we kind of judge ourselves, like, why am I feeling this? I shouldn't be feeling this. I shouldn't be feeling this. And then that literally makes it worse because you're resisting the emotion that's going to come up. Okay. So I kind of explained this in my last video, the difference between like dirty pain and clean pain. But for this right now, I'm more explaining how to process the pain, process an emotion. So when a negative emotion comes up, all it is just a vibration in your body. We don't even have to label it as a dangerous thing or a negative thing. It's just sadness. It's just disappointment. And you are capable of feeling it because it's not killing you, right? It's just, it feels like it's killing you. Your brain tells you it's dangerous and you're going to die. But the emotional intelligence parts that we're developing is learning that every emotion is safe to feel. I'm allowed to feel sad. I'm allowed to feel disappointed. And I will have my back and I will do whatever it takes to take care of myself when that emotion comes up. And so that emotion comes up, and what happens is, okay, you identify where it is. So you go about your day, you notice something doesn't feel good, you check in with yourself, okay, where do I feel this emotion? Right, feeling kind of like this heavy brick in my throat, or I kind of like feel like a big heaviness across my chest, and it's like this size, and that's really uncomfortable. And we kind of just sit with it, right? Like this is feeling really uncomfortable. I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling, disappointed. And when you allow yourself to just feel that, it sends a message to your brain that you have received the message, because your brain is just trying to protect you when it sends these negative emotions. And so when you say things like, I shouldn't be feeling this, you're telling your brain you're not receiving the message, and the brain gets louder, right? It sends it even more. It's like, nope, you're not telling me that you've received the message of anxiety. I'm going to make it louder. And so the anxiety kind of piles up. And sometimes that's what leads to a panic attack. But um really when you get more in tune with your body and you learn how to feel the emotion, you can catch it early on and be like, oh, okay, I'm feeling anxiety. I'm feeling anxious. And you don't even have to kind of identify where it's coming from. You can just start with this: I'm feeling anxious. How human of me to feel anxiety. This is what it's like to feel anxiety. And sometimes it's not even logical, because sometimes I wake up right in the random morning and I'm just feeling this heavy feeling of sadness, and it makes no sense. There's nothing to be sad about. There's nothing to be sad about, but my brain just wants to feel sad for some reason, right? So when that happens and I notice the sadness, okay, I'm feeling sad. I usually have a protocol for myself. When I'm feeling sad, I just either go take a walk or watch like a nature documentary. Those usually lift me up. But um I let myself feel it. And I don't necessarily dictate like I don't necessarily stop my whole day because I'm sad. It's more like, oh, I'm noticing I'm feeling sad. And I just kind of keep doing what I need to do, knowing that that sadness is going to be here, because sadness is just kind of like a heaviness on my chest. It's not stopping me from doing anything. Now, the brain, what it wants to do is like, I'm feeling sad, something's gone terribly wrong. We need to stop everything and figure it out. And sometimes you don't really need to do that. You just need to notice it's just a feeling, and you're just carrying it like a big heavy bag, carrying a heavy bag that you have to kind of carry until its time is over. So to going back to actually processing it, you notice it and you label it, and you kind of label it how it feels in your body, and you just actually feel what is it like to feel that emotion. Like if there was an alien from outer space coming to discover humans, and it's asking you, like, what's it like to be human? What's it like to be a human experiencing sadness? And you describe it very literally. Like, okay, sadness is it's kind of like a big pokey thing, heavy pokey thing on your chest, and it's kind of uncomfortable. And then the alien asks, okay, is it like burning? Like, are you dying? And you'd be like, no, 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 I'm not, it's not that bad. It's just really uncomfortable to feel sad. It's just heavy. And then the alien asks, oh, okay. So why do humans avoid feeling it? And then you could just explain, right? Like, oh, because and it's not good it doesn't feel good to feel sad. We don't like to feel sad. We like to feel happy all the time because our brains are programmed to believe that we should be happy all the time and that something's wrong if we're not happy all the time. And so, okay, right? So you want to humanize it. You want to really describe it that it's there's nothing dangerous, there's nothing wrong with feeling it. It's just the feeling that comes up. And so now when that feeling comes up and you just have to feel it, you want to allow it. You want to welcome the feeling. Like right now, I am feeling sad. Right now, I'm feeling anxiety. This is what it's like to feel anxiety. And there's two things you can do. The first thing is allowing that emotion to be there for as long as it needs to be. And you can't have the agenda of making it go away. Because oftentimes my clients tell me, like, oh, you told me to feel the emotion and I'm feeling it, but it's not going away. And I'm like, that's not you feeling it. That's you resisting it because you're like, all right, I'm feeling it. When is it going away? That's not allowing it. That's kind of like I'm feeling it with the agenda of it has to go away. But it's more of like I'm feeling it and it can be here for as long as it needs to take. Kind of like if you have a leg cramp or a bruise or a cut, it kind of just needs to take its time to heal. So it's there, there's no problem. And when you do that, when you allow the emotion to show up, you show your brain that it's very safe to feel an emotion and you don't have to run away from it, which builds your confidence. And the second option here is when the emotion gets too intense and it's really your nervous system is very dysregulated, and you just can't operate, this is where you do some nervous system regulation. And I've kind of explained some tools on one of my very first videos. I created a video of tapping, and that's one of the ways to to kind of regulate yourself when it's an emotion is too much and you can't function, right? Like if it's like in extreme anxiety or like just anything that feels a little too intense, tapping can really like settle that down. And that video is on on my channel. It's on like one of my first videos. It's called EFT tapping and bilateral stimulation. And I show you a lot of tools of how to do that. And then that's it, right? You just allow the emotion. Sometimes that emotion could take days. Scientifically speaking, if you really let the emotion process, it takes about 30 seconds. That's what they say, right? 30 seconds. Sometimes I notice it for me, it takes about 7 minutes, 10 minutes to really let it be there. Sometimes it takes days. Either way, you can't judge yourself. You can't judge the emotion because when you judge the emotion, it makes it harder for you to actually release it. So you're feeling it. Alhamdulillah. All right, I'm feeling this heaviness in my chest. This vibration in the middle of my chest is anxiety. This inadequacy is feeling like shame. And what does shame feel like? I just want to hide. I don't want to show anyone. Like it's like what is all of it? All of it, you kind of have to really learn how to label your emotion. And so this goes into my next point, which is your assignment kind of for this week and something to really practice, which will really empower you, is if you pull up the feelings wheel and if you go on Google and you just type feelings wheel, either the first or second link, it's like a big colorful chart with feelings all over it. And you want to label what you're feeling. Because there's a difference between, for example, feeling despair and feeling disappointed. Or feeling, oh, my video's frozen. Hello? Hello? Okay, it's back. Sorry. I don't know what's going on with my camera. Um, right? So there's a difference between feeling despair or disappointed or shame and guilt. There's a difference there. Or there's a difference between, there's a lot of difference, right? So when you see that feeling circle, you'll know what I'm talking about. But as you go about your day, just practice labeling what you're feeling. Just start with that. You wake up and you just label, okay, what am I feeling? I'm feeling anxious. Usually the anxiety is coming from what you're thinking, but we don't even have to go that far. You don't have to identify what you're thinking. You just say, I'm feeling anxious. You go about your day, okay, I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling this, or I'm feeling that. And it helps to journal it out to kind of like note it, or you can just like literally just you're just practice noting it. And you want to check in with your body and you can check, okay, this is what sadness feels like. This is what anxiety feels like. It's kind of like a buzzing feeling in the back of my head, or kind of a buzzing thing that I don't know how to get rid of and it's annoying. Just recognize what is it like to be an anxious human, and you have to give yourself space to feel it, because otherwise you're just resisting it. It makes it worse. Like I said, the brain is going to be like, okay, she's not hearing the message. He's not hearing the message. Let's make the message louder, which is how emotions intensify, right? So, um, yeah, inshallah that helps with just we're just starting off with labeling the emotion, and processing it is literally just sitting with it. And when you learn how to sit with negative emotions, your ability to feel alive becomes wider. Like your capacity to just experience any emotion that comes up feels better, like just more expansive. Because you're like, I can do anything. I can go and talk to this, and I can do this, and I can do that. And because the worst that could happen is some embarrassment, some fear, some anxiety, some nervousness. I'm ready to experience all of it, because that's the beauty of being a human being, is we're blessed with the ability to feel negative emotion, because negative emotions are created to make us feel alive. If we didn't have negative emotions, we wouldn't know what a positive emotion is. And so as most of us are stuck here in the middle, where we don't really feel intense negative emotion, but we just feel like numbness. We don't feel anything. So when we kind of, if you imagine a spectrum here, when you allow yourself to feel, when you're allowed to feel the most intense negative emotions, you will also let yourself feel the most beautiful emotions, positive emotions. And it's all beautiful, right? All of the emotions are amazing when you, because that's how I see it, right? Like it's all, emotions are just neutral. It's just a vibration in your body. There's nothing to run away from. Like happiness is just a vibration in my body too. It's not any better than sadness. We need both, right? We need darkness in order to see the stars. And I love that quote. I can't remember where I got it from. So I want to give credit to the author, but it's such a beautiful way of seeing it, because like in order to experience the aliveness and happiness of this life, you have to learn how to experience the sadness of this and the negative parts of this life. And I'm talking about like the pure emotions that come with it. And the pure and dirty pain is also from my previous video. This goes along with this video as well. Okay, inshallah this really helps. Let me know your thoughts, and inshallah I'll see you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum.